Good evening. Welcome to City of Sugar Land City Council meeting for Tuesday, February the 4th. A little bit about the agenda tonight. In a minute, Stuart Jacobson is going to deliver the invocation, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Then we're going to go to a recognition for National Engineers Week, and then it's going to be a pretty quick agenda, so we'll be through it and out of here. Stuart, when do you think that's going to be? There we go. 6:22. You heard it from the man himself. Stuart, why don't you lead us in the invocation and the pledge?
Dear Lord, help us look to the past with gratitude and to the future with hope. We remember this day those who have gone before us here, who labored not for themselves alone, but with a vision of building for the future a world better than they had known. Inspire in us also a like vision that we too may labor for things beyond ourselves, and that our lives may be dedicated to high purposes and grand horizons. Make us unafraid of hopes and dreams, release us from cynicism and despair. Teach us to be realistic about our limitations, but never to lose hope in our potential to transcend them. Amen.
Amen.
And please join me in the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Jesse, why don't you come down and join me? And we've got our list of engineers. This is going to be National Engineers Week. Jesse's down here, Chris Stubbe, if you'd come down, Tim John, Andrea Broughton, Jorge Alba, Guillermo Salceda, Rob Valenzuela, I didn't see Rob, there he is, Brian Butcher, Katie Clayton, James Turner, Jason Vaughn, Danica Mueller, and Rick Ramirez. These are our professional engineers. Jesse, you want to introduce the topic for us?
Yes. Thank you, Mayor. The National Engineers Week was founded by the National Professional Society in 1951. It is also called E-Week. The goal of the E-Week to celebrate how engineers make a difference in the world and to raise public awareness of the engineers' positive contribution to quality of life. The E-Week also promotes interest in engineering education, technology education, and the careers. City has 13 professional engineers. We are all Texas licensed, and our mayor is also a professional engineer. And this year's E-Week is from February 16th to 22nd. Thank you.
Thanks, Jesse. One thing that I found really interesting, they did a survey with people. It's been several years ago. And the survey was, at what level of confidence do you believe that engineers have the best interest of the citizens at large? No surprise it ranked higher than politicians. That was kind of a given, but it actually was the second or third category. Right below, I think it was pastors. So congratulations to all of you that are engineers, fellow engineers. The contribution you make is certainly, I think, appreciated by the community and by the council and the management team. So can we get everybody to kind of move back? Council, if you could stand up.
Everybody look at there, please. Take 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Last one. 1, 2, 3. Great, thank you very much.
Thank you. Congratulations. Meredith, do they do anything like that for attorneys? Is there an attorneys week? Because we got 2 attorneys on the council. We've got right over here. Y'all are just under the engineer. Well, we can have a little fun with it. Item number 1 on the agenda is the oath of office. At this time, I'm going to ask that anybody from our tax increment reinvestment zone 1, 2, 3, or 4, please come down for the oath of office. Going to be a short oath, isn't it? Here they come. that all we had with the council members? If you'll repeat after me, and we'll do it all the same. Raise your right hand, Steve. I do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the duties of the office of the City of Sugar Land, County of Fort Bend, State of Texas, and will to the best of my ability preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States and of this state, and the Charter and ordinances of the city. And I furthermore solemnly swear that I have not directly or indirectly paid, offered, or promised to pay, contributed, or promised to contribute any money, or valuable thing, or promised any public office or employment as a reward to secure my appointment, with a confirmation thereof, so help me God. Congratulations. For those of you that know, our council members serve on many committees, so this is only one of their responsibilities. Is for anybody that would like to have a comment on any of the agenda items. Anything but a public hearing, and I don't think we have a public hearing. We don't have a public hearing tonight. Anyone from the audience? Move on to item number 3, review the consent agenda. Item number 4, the consent agenda. We'll take all these as one item, unless a council member pulls it, at which time we'll take all the other items as one motion, and then we'll go to the item, we'll have a brief presentation on the item pulled. Motion? Got a motion by Gandhi, second by McCutcheon. If you vote at this time, please. And it passes 7-0. Thank you. Item number 5, municipal utility district bonds. 5A, consideration of and action on authorizing the issuance of $6,010,000 in Fort Bend County Municipal Utility District number 128 unlimited tax bonds, Series 2020. Rosita Bashoon, our budget manager. Rosita.
Hi. Good evening, Mayor and City Council. This evening, Fort Bend MUD 128, also known as Riverstone, is requesting City Council's consideration and approval for its 2020 unlimited tax bonds for $6,010,000. Prior to this meeting, the district received approval from TCEQ in January for the issuance of the bonds. Resolution number 11-07 governs the issuance of debt in the MUD district. Some of the criteria regarding debt issuance are: City Council must approve all debt by the MUDs. The payment schedule for the proposed bonds cannot extend beyond the current outstanding debt service schedule, and at least 40% of the principal must be repaid during the first half of the repayment schedule. Riverstone on MUD 28 is a green area shown on the map and is located in the southeast corner of the city limits. There are 1,768 acres in the district, which includes 1,410 developed acres for 3,019 single-family homes, 170 acres for commercial and recreational uses, and 188 acres for utilities. The District 2019 certified taxable value was $1.71 billion, and its estimated value as of December 1st, 2019 is $1.798 billion. The 2019 debt service tax rate is 39 cents and maintenance and operation is 10 cents for a total district tax rate of 49 cents. The lid number 15 tax rate is 53 cents for a combined tax rate of $1.02. The district current outstanding bonds total $86.71 million. The last debt service payment for the current outstanding bonds is 2041. The proceeds of the fund will be used to retire a 2019 bond anticipation note, reimburse developer for construction and engineering costs for water, wastewater, and drainage improvements, and to finance connection fees and issuance costs. The proposed debt is shown in red and matures in the same year as the last debt service payment for the current outstanding debt, which is 2041. The district plans to sell the bonds next month. The staff have reviewed the district's request and it complies with the city's resolution number 11-07. The staff also recommends approval of this issue. The district financial advisor, Christine Crotwell from Masterson Advisor, is here with us and will be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Rosita.
You're welcome.
Any questions of the financial advisor or staff? Steve?
The material that you gave us listed to retire these bond anticipation notes and to reimburse developers for actual costs spent in the district. Is that 100% of what they're going to spend money on? Are there any projects that they're going to do related to this? This is all of it, right?
This is to retire the bond, the bond anticipation note. It includes the issuance costs and connection fees in there as well.
Oh, here comes somebody.
Yeah.
And essentially, the bond anticipation note, that's a short-term financing mechanism. So in the summary of cost in the POS, which I have right here, the projects that are listed there are essentially, we paid early by issuing the bond anticipation note to finance those projects. So give me 1 second.
Could you state your name and the company you're with?
Christine Crotwell, Masterson Advisors.
Thank you.
You got it. Sorry. But, so yes, all the proceeds are essentially for projects. It's just whether the band paid for them 6 months ago and now the bonds are reimbursing the band. So it's a financing mechanism. We're also paying for connection charges to the city, but this is the wrap-up bond issue for Fort Bend 128 for existing developer, all existing developer reimbursement within the district. So any new money bonds that would be coming forward would be for new development past or from this point on. So this would be infrastructure for any of the sections that have probably been developed in the past 2 years that have value on the ground to fully support the reimbursement.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Anyone else to have a motion? I've got a motion by Jacobson. Do I have a second? There's a second by Kermali. You vote this time, please. And it passes 7-0. Thank you. Item number 6, contracts and agreements. 6A, consideration of an action on authorizing execution of a contract with Wesco Grounds Maintenance Company in the amount of $555,387.81 for parks landscape maintenance services. This contract will automatically renew for an additional 4 years for a total contract cost of $2,776,939.05. William Hashdick, our Assistant Director of Parks and Rec. William.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Council and Mayor. I just want to give a little bit of background on this contract. The Parks and Recreation Department manages 29 park sites with approximately 915 developed acres, 60 power line easement acres, and 1,280 undeveloped acres. The Parks Landscape Service contract includes all park finish mowing and trimming, tractor mowing, easements, trail mowing, landscape bed maintenance including pruning and weed control, and litter and debris removal. on certain days of the week, like 1 day a week for the neighborhood parks and 2 days a week for the community level parks. The rest of it's handled by my staff, my in-house staff. A 25% increase was included for this contract in the fiscal year 20 budget. The base bid does include 44 mowing cycles per year due to the fiscal year 18 budget reductions. The add alternate brings the contract up to 46 cycles per year. Staff believes this isn't an appropriate number of cycles to meet the seasonal demands, along with the residents and park user level of expectations. The invitation to bid was advertised on November 6th, 2019. On December 12th of 2019, 5 bids were received. Houston Grotech Services, Westco Grounds Maintenance, Yellowstone Landscape Central, Maldonado Nursery and Landscaping, Ambassador. Ambassador's was deemed by purchasing as non-responsive due to not including a bid bond. The budget for this project is $586,916. The apparent low bidder, Grotech, was disqualified based on current performance with the city and as a result of the outcome of the reference check process. The recommended lowest responsible bidder is Westco. Westco has an existing landscape contract with the city's Public Works Right-of-Way Division. Westco is currently in very good standing with them. Reference checks on 2 other organizations were also very positive for Westco. The contract will begin on March 1st of this year through February 29th of 2021. It includes an option of 4 additional 1-year terms, includes a plus or minus 2.5% price adjustment per year if justified based on the Houston CPI. Westco's bid, including the add alternates, is $555,387.81, below the budgeted amount for fiscal year 20 landscape services contract of $586,916.20. This was reviewed with the Finance Audit Committee on January 15th of this year. Staff recommends that City Council approve a contract with Westco Ground Maintenance in the amount of $555,387.81 per year for the Parks and Recreation Department Landscape Maintenance Services contract. I did also want to point out that Scott Puckett with Westco is also in the audience representing Westco this evening. And with that, I'd like to take any clarifying questions for staff.
Any questions? Steve?
You can tell who was busy this week instead of getting their questions in, so if you're wrong, Stuart, it's my fault. One of the slides said that this would auto-renew, and then another slide said we had an option to renew. Which is the case?
Good question. It does auto-renew. I will not have to keep taking it back to City Council for approval, but it will be up to the city and the contractor to issue that renewal notice. So it will auto-renewal. It's built in as auto-renewals.
If both parties.
Am I saying this right?
If both parties.
Both parties have to agree to it.
Actually, the way the contracts are set up now is that we have to provide notice if we do not want to auto-renew. So by coming forward with the agenda item this evening, you're actually approving it for the maximum amount of term of the contract, and he does not have to come forward to you annually for approval. That's why the language is as such in the caption.
Okay.
So the optional piece of it is us either exercising or not.
We would
our
have to
options.
exercise our option not to renew, or council would fail to appropriate funds for the contract to end. Otherwise, this is going to essentially be 5 years' worth of contract.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Carol?
Thank you, Mayor. As far as the CPI adjustment goes, the plus or minus 2.5%, so if 1 year it's plus 3%, it just is truncated at the 2.5%, and that doesn't carry over to the next year or anything?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay.
Am I right?
It does not carry over, and it's incumbent upon the contractor to provide evidence of the CPI adjustment, and then the city makes a determination as to whether or not they will grant it or they will reduce it accordingly.
Thank you.
Do we have a motion? Got a motion by McCutcheon, second. Got a second by Kermally. You vote this time, please. And that's a 7-0 vote. Item number 7, ordinances and resolutions. 7A, first and final consideration. Consideration of an action on City of Sugar Land ordinance number 2190, an ordinance of the City of Sugar Land, Texas, calling for election for Saturday, May 2nd, 2020, to elect a mayor and 2 at-large council members and to vote on amendments to the city's charter, providing for early voting and for legal notice of the election, and providing for other matters relating to the election. We have Thomas Harris III, our city secretary, and Meredith Reedy, our city attorney. Thomas.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Would like to thank you guys for your consideration on ordinance number 2190. So this will officially kick off, from our perspective, the election season for the May 2nd, 2020 election. So this year we are proposing to take 2 items to the voters. One would be a candidate election and one would be a charter amendment election. I'll give you some dates about candidate filing. Of course, this establishes our joint election services agreement with Fort Bend County to assist in running our election, and also assigns the Fort Bend County Elections Administrator as our early voting clerk. I'll talk a little bit about polling locations because as traditionally done over the last few years, we are using what they call super precincts or vote centers for Fort Bend County. So for the candidate positions this year, we are doing the mayor and at-large position 1 and 2. So this is a at-large election year, and the candidate filing occurs on Valentine's Day at 5 p.m. So February 14th will be the last day for candidates to file for a place on the ballot. And then after we know that the ballot is secure in the form of which candidates have filed for a place, we will, in our tradition, go ahead and put up a candidate profile website so that the citizens can go and read about the candidates based on information that we receive from them. For the charter propositions, just to let you know, they are numbered on here, and I'll kind of wing back to Meredith if she has some things to chime in. They are numbered on here, but for the sake of the ballot, according to the election code, on the ballot they will be listed as Sugar Land Prop A, Proposition B, so on and so forth. So for local elections that have special measures or propositions, it's got to be done by letters instead of numbers. So that will be part of your backup in the ordinance. So the 9 propositions, I won't go through every single one of these. I've kind of put them up here because we've talked about this for the last several weeks, but just for the sake of the public, for this information. So we are discussing term limits, we are discussing the validation of candidacy, additional validation of candidacy, as well as a 60-day time frame to fill vacancies if it's less than 12 months. And, the council's voting for legislative matters, especially with ordinance and resolutions that come before the council. Forfeiture of office will be on there, especially talking about automatic resignation. A resign to run for external office provision will be on there, as well as changing all of the signature requirements as far as the percentage thresholds for our initiatives, referendums, and petitions. So again, for the sake of the public, I know it's numbered on this slide, but when it goes to the ballot, it will be Prop A, B, so on and so forth, all the way to cover to what letter equals 9. So as far as early voting polling locations, we will have 22 polling locations. 7 of those will be in the city of Sugar Land, so there will be plenty of areas for people to go exercise their right to vote. Early voting will start on April 20th and end on April 28th, and just for the public's consumption, the 27th and the 28th are the 12-hour days, so plenty of time to go voting on those particular days. For Election Day polling locations, we will have 17 vote centers here in the city of Sugar Land, and a quick reference to our election website in which we will post all of the election information. There's links to the candidate packet, there's links to qualifications for office, as well as early voting locations and anything pertaining to the election. We will also post the notice of election here, as well as the order of election, and even all of our results as they come in will be hosted on this particular website. So, wealth of information in that one link. So for the canvassing and the oath of office by charter, we swear in our officers once they are elected. Right now it's projected to be May 5th, between May 5th and May 13th. May 5th is a regular scheduled city council meeting, so working with Fort Bend County, we'll see about how many federal postcards go out and things of that nature, and how secure they are about getting that information back to us. Now, we'll cover a runoff election. We always knock on wood, and hopefully we don't have one of those, but if we do, just for the public's consumption, this is only for candidate election portion of of our election. The charter propositions, they're either voted up or down, so there is no runoff, either they pass or fail. So for a candidate election, if we don't receive a majority vote in a candidate election, we will go to call a runoff on the day that we canvass. The projected period for the runoff will be early voting starting on June 1st and ending on June 9th, and runoff election day being on June 13th, with a projected canvassing and oath of office for the runoff election being anytime between June 16th to June 24th. So with that, staff recommends that City Council approve on first and final reading ordinance number 2190, calling the candidate election as well as the charter amendment election for May 2nd, 2020. And Meredith and I would be happy to clarify any questions for you all.
Thank you, Thomas. Any questions? Carol?
Mayor, will the new voting machines be in place for the city election?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And I thought that the county took 10 days to canvass the election. Is that 10 days actually a variable time?
Well, what it is, state law allows 3 to 11 days to canvass the election. And within that time, about the third or fourth day is the earliest day the early voting ballot board can meet. So they looking at all the federal postcards that have come in, all the mail-in ballots that have come in, and during the 3 to 6 day period of that 3 to 11 day period, that also is what we call the cure period for any provisional ballots. So if for some reason someone showed up at a polling location and cast a ballot, didn't have an ID, they would do it on the provisional ballot, but then have that cure period time to go back to the county, show them their ID, and validate the ballot. So it's a lot of moving parts going between that 3 to 11 day, but that 3 to 11 day is state law, and not so much the county's the county's standard operating procedure.
Okay, thank you. Make a motion to approve.
Got a motion by McCutcheon. Do I have a second? I've got a second by Lane. You vote at this time, please. No, hand vote. If you do a hand vote, raise your right hand. All in favor? Any opposed? And it passes 7-0. Item number 8, City Council City Manager reports. A, City Council member reports. Jennifer, let's start with you.
I attended Career Day back in Nashad at James Bowie Middle School in Fort Bend ISD, and met with a bunch of kids and talked about the city of Sugar Land and what it is to serve for the city. The presentation of Ladder 2, our new fire truck, and the Fort Bend Chamber Chairman's event.
Steve?
No report, Mayor.
No, Shad.
The only thing I'll add is the India Republic Day happened to have their 71st anniversary this past weekend in Stafford, and I attended that.
Okay. Carol?
Yes, I attended Bob Baskett's 102nd birthday party at the Brookdale First Colony Assisted Living, and he was quite an interesting fellow, and he actually had worked in his younger days for Henry Ford, as in the Model T Henry Ford, and he was telling me about how he had met Ernest Hemingway and Key West and all that, and he's busy working on his memoirs. And also attended the Fort Bend Cares Charity Foundation that helps support the needs of disadvantaged children in Fort Bend County. And I attended the 2020 Economic Forecast Luncheon hosted by the Greater Houston Builders Association.
Ramesh? Stuart?
Mayor, since you forced me to make a prediction of when the meeting was going to end, and I said 6:22, I will list everything that I've done.
See if you can drag it out.
But the highlights, too, the things that haven't been mentioned, is that I attended the Houston-Galveston Area Council General Assembly annual meeting, which was very enlightening, and then also the Fort Bend County Mayors and Council Members Association.
Perfect. And the only thing that I'd mention was I had the chance to speak to the Sugar Mill third graders, and they had some great questions. It was a lot of fun. The future of Sugar Land's in great hands. Item number B, City Manager report. Mike?
Thank you, Mayor. I had the chance to attend many of the events with the council over the last couple of weeks, and that was fun getting to re-engage with our community members. I'd like to invite the public out on February 8th for the City Hall Atrium Artwork Reception. It's going to be at 2 o'clock to have a reception for the 60th anniversary artwork. And then also on Saturday, February 15th, we have the Sugarland Girls Softball Opening Day, and those are always a highlight of my year, getting to see the kids get ready to play ball. That's all I have, Mayor.
All right, thank you, Mike. Do we have a motion to adjourn? We've got a motion by McCutcheon, Stewart, 6:02.
Unacceptable.